This summer I'm headed to the Amazon rainforest in Colombia, and today I'm testing out the boot that I've bought for that trip, the Jungle ESC from Vivobarefoot. Designed for a jungle environment so the water can come in, but then it can also drain out really quickly whilst protecting your ankle and the lower part of your calf from snakes, from leeches and other animals you might encounter in the jungle environment. So we're in Epping Forest today where there's plenty of mud, as you can see, plenty of dry land to test the grip on as well, rocks, tree stumps, roots. So let's talk a bit about the design of the boot. ESC stands for Ecological Survival Collection, and a decade of research has gone into making this boot. It's got this Michelin ESC sole with a couple of different tread patterns for different terrain. The sole's stitched to the boot, so it's not going to start coming away, which can be a problem when the sole is just glued on. And that same level of quality comes across in the tongue, which is like a canvas material on the outside. On the inside it's got a quick drying pattern, and it's high vis so you can see if any spiders and bugs have got in there in the night. The outer features this rubber exoskeleton just like the Hydra ESC, and this allows the boot to have a bit of structure and also protection without stopping the water from flowing out. At the back we've got a loop, which is always useful for putting on boots, getting your foot in there. And in terms of flexibility, despite having the really meaty Michelin sole, it's got all the flexibility that you would expect from Vivobarefoot. Speaking of meaty, all the materials are actually vegan. Now alongside the boots I'm also testing out my first pair of waterproof socks from SealSkinz. The idea being that I can keep my feet dry despite wearing a shoe which is designed to let all the water in. I don't really know if this is a good idea or it's better just to embrace the wetness right down to skin level. I guess we'll find out. The laces are really tough. In fact, you could probably use these for like fixing your tent or something if you needed to. And the lacing system's quite straightforward. There's enough lace that if you wanted to go around the back and then tie it up, you could, which would definitely stop any leeches and bugs getting down the boot. I decided just to do a double knot with all the excess. And this still left me with a boot that was really nice and snug, so there was no way any bugs would be getting in there. As always, it comes with a removable insole, which is also high vis, so you can see if there's bugs in there. And this sole is very different to any other I've seen from Vivobarefoot. It's got kind of anti-slip strips across it, which is useful I guess when you're going to have a wet foot and it's going to be a wet shoe, and it's quite spongy. My wife bought the Hydra ESC, which has a similar sole. As you can see, this one's glued rather than stitched. It's still got the exoskeleton, although it's got a lot less protection, and it also has a different insole. The insole looks like it would be a bit quicker drying. I don't know why they've used different insoles for quite similar shoes really. This one is firmer, it's less spongy, it's more like a piece of foam. But we're going to be taking these shoes and my jungle boots to the Amazon rainforest, to the Caribbean and the Pacific coast of Colombia, so they're going to get plenty wet, and we'll let you know which one performs better. So now for some field testing and then my final thoughts. The Michelin sole provides really good protection against sharp objects and really good grip on natural surfaces. I would imagine they'd be a bit slippery if I were walking on some man-made surfaces in the rain, something smooth, because they've got such deep lugs. The same with the Hydra ESC. Obviously they're designed to be a very practical boot, and barefoot shoes normally don't offer the best in terms of aesthetics anyway, but personally I really like how they look. I think they look really cool. If you're going to spend upwards of 200 quid on a pair of boots, you might as well like how they look. Speaking of cost, which should always feature in a review video because obviously it's quite a big aspect of buying something, they're currently £240 on the Vivobarefoot UK website in black, but they're on offer at £176 in the green colour. And of course there's the Revivo website where they sell second-hand shoes that they've restored or put new soles on, so it's worth checking there. And of course second-hand. I bought mine on eBay because I always prefer to get second-hand if I can, even when it's brands that are ethical or more sustainable, because there's nothing more sustainable than second-hand, and who doesn't love saving a bit of money? I thought I might wear them on this trip and then I might put them on eBay, and then, you know, it's like a circular economy. Everyone gets to buy the pair of shoes for their Amazon trip, and then someone else gets to use them instead of them sitting in my wardrobe or my cupboard forever. However, I actually really like them so far and probably would wear them for dry days hiking in the UK because they're going to be so much more breathable than my waterproof Vivobarefoot hiking boots. Going in the water with these waterproof SealSkinz socks is a really weird experience because of course the Vivobarefoot Jungle ESC is letting all the water in, but then the sock is waterproof. This is the first time I've tested it, so I don't know if I can actually feel water in my feet. It's kind of like you feel the coolness of the water, but I don't think my feet are getting wet. I mean, I hope not, because they're designed to be waterproof, but it's a really strange experience. It does feel a bit like wearing a wet shoe. You've got the kind of sponginess of the sock, but without actually getting your feet wet. So let's see later how it actually feels and if my feet are a bit damp when I take them off.
Hermoso, están como apostando una carrerita.
For good measure, I thought I'd probably best climb a tree to test the boots on. I just wanted to climb a tree. But here's me taking my life in my hands to test the traction, test the tread for you. That's got to be worth a follow, surely. The boot dealt really well with climbing a tree. It dealt well with the paths in Epping Forest, with the mud, with going in the lake. It's dealt well with everything so far. Obviously, like I said, with that kind of tough rubber on the bottom, quite firm rubber, and having those big lugs means you don't have much surface area if you were to walk on something like pavement. So that's something where, you know, probably don't want to be wearing these boots in a city environment. This is the moment of truth where I got back to the car and took the boots off. Obviously I knew the boots were going to get wet, that's the whole point, so it's when I got home that I had a look at just how quickly they dry. This is the moment of truth really for the SealSkinz socks, which did an excellent job of keeping my feet dry. I don't know why I was so surprised. They're waterproof socks, they've got a good reputation, but just in my mind I was like, I put my foot in a carrier bag, how is it going to stay completely dry? But it did. So it's now time to head back to my in-laws and continue the testing. Just to satisfy my own skepticism really, I put loads of water onto these and I squished them and squeezed them in my fist to see if I could get the water to come through, and they stayed bone dry on the inside. I also wanted to see just how quickly a certain volume of water could drain from the boot, so I actually filled them all the way up and then had a look at how quickly that water drains out, and it was super impressive. Considering the amount of structure and protection the boot gives you, the water drains out really, really quickly. The bit that sits in the sole does sit there, so you'd have to turn the boot completely upside down to get that out, but that's something that's to be expected really. The final test was drying them on a London balcony on a semi-breezy day, and they were dry by the following day. So would I recommend buying the Vivobarefoot Jungle ESC? Well, if you're going to a jungle environment, yes, absolutely. They seem really well researched. Vivobarefoot said they've put a decade of research into this and they've made it with jungle experts. So I'm going to let you know how it goes in the Amazon rainforest, but I think they're going to be great.